Good evening, traders. This is Briguy here on DayTradingRadio.com with the Briguy After Hours Show, what you turn on when the markets turn off. And today, of course, we have the holiday schedule in effect. So the regular markets are now closed with the extended hour session running for another couple of hours, depending on what stock you're looking to trade. And the futures market, looking for that to reopen in about 5 minutes or so at 4:30 Eastern, and expecting that to run to about 5:15 Eastern, the extended hours futures session. And then, unless I'm mistaken, that should be closed for the rest of the weekend until Sunday night, the usual open at 6. The spot market, however, I believe continues to run under normal schedule. So if anyone has alternative scheduling to that, let me know. We'll be happy to pass those along, but that's the way I understood it from reading the myriad of legalese that there is when these things are announced. So we thank you for joining us. I want to say hi to those in the room. Congratulations to our weekly cash close contest winner. And once again, I failed to get my guess in on time, and so I don't get to lose again. So I feel good about that. Didn't lose, didn't participate, but somewhere along the way, we're going to try to fix that. We got the ES sitting here, reaching some new highs today. The NASDAQ reaching some new highs. The Dow this week reaching some new highs. And everybody and their brother coming out of the woodwork. It's just like spring and those bugs living under your porch. You start knocking around and everything comes out. And opinions galore. It's gone up too far, too fast. It's done exactly what it should do. It still has room to go. It's due for a rebound. It's due for a pullback. It's due for a pause. It's due for a rest. It's due to keep going. It's due to whatever. And so I put a couple songs together that I'm just going to queue up while I'm getting some other software loaded up for the show. And if you guys have any song requests, feel free to send me a message in a private message here in the chat room. I'll be happy to add it to the queue. Don't worry about getting me a GrooveShark link, because I'm not even using GrooveShark right now. So just get me the name of the band, the name of the song. So make sure you spell it right. At least if I've heard of it, I can try to figure it out, but sometimes I get lost. And do me a favor, tell me which one's the song title and which one's the band name, because sometimes those are interchangeable. Anyway, we'll put on a couple songs, and we're going to have a guest or two, perhaps, call in to just talk briefly about some things that they're looking at, and we'll take the show from there and see where we go. Be with you right about the other side of 4:30. Right now it's 28 minutes after the hour. You're listening to Briguy's After Hours Show here on DayTradingRadio.com.
We'll kick it off with the markets. It's the last day of the quarter.
Turn away. Blood and water from one side. It took your eyes to stare me down. It took the truth to set me free, to set me free. I'm looking for a place to hide, waiting for the wind to rise. My soul is waiting, looking for a place to hide. I need a little peace tonight. Take me higher than the sun. Yeah, you are the only one. Take me higher than the sun. Yeah, yeah. Around the ceiling of the heart, it's where we feel the things that send us away. It's where the blind can see the stars. So do you see the stars? Do you see the stars? I'm looking for a place to hide. I need a little peace tonight. Take me higher than the sun. Yeah, you are the only one. Take me higher than the sun. Yeah, yeah. Take me higher than the sun. Yeah, you are the only one. You are the only one. Take me higher than the sun. Yeah. Take me higher than the sun. Take me higher than the sun. Yeah, you are the only one. You are the only one. You are the only one. Higher than the sun. Take me higher than the sun. You are the only one. Take me higher than the sun. You are the only one. You are the only one. You are the only
All right, that was a little song by the Jars of Clay. Pulling the dust off of that one there for you guys. RPM is just asking about the song bot in the room. I know I ignored it in one of the other rooms, and it seems like that's now carried over to the main chat. So if you could tell me what the unignore command is, maybe I just need to do that, as I'm not getting the posts in the room, and I guess if they're working, then that's really all that matters. So here we have the futures market opened up again, but trading very light volume here, pretty much flat from where it was at 4:30 last 10 minutes. Let's go over the market summary report here of where things were left at the end of the day. Stocks closed out for the first quarter on a high note, with the Dow logging its strongest quarter in 15 years, and the S&P 500 piercing through levels last seen in 2007 to end at a record high near 1570. The S&P finally surpassed its closing high level of 1565.15 shortly after the market opened, after flirting with the milestone for weeks, recovering all of its losses from the financial crisis, if you could believe that. The next milestone for the index is its all-time intraday high of 1576.09 set on October 11, 2007. So those of you who've been asking about those numbers, I don't know if those meet up with what you guys have on your records, but that's at least what this report says. And RPM, still not telling me what the unignore command is. The Dow Jones Industrial Average soared more than 11% in the first 3 months of the year, led by Hewlett-Packard. Interestingly, the blue chip index has never finished a year down when the first quarter is up at least 8%. And I'll give you another stat that I've mentioned before on the show, and that is that the market is higher after a second-term Democrat or a first-term Republican. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq also ended in positive territory, logging their fifth straight monthly gain. The VIX ended below 13. Most key S&P sectors finished higher, led by utilities and healthcare. This market's had a phenomenal run, and we've been anticipating a cooling period. We thought that the Cyprus event would have been a perfect opportunity to do so, but we just keep going higher, said Troy Logan, managing director and senior economist at Warren Financial Service in the What Me Worry department. What's driving that is the fundamental positives. Logan pointed to the ongoing housing recovery as a positive for the market going forward. Additionally, he noted that the employment picture, while not improving at a robust rate, is seeing gradual progress. Quote, the U.S. is not showing signs of going into a recession, and the Federal Reserve has clearly signaled that they will remain accommodative for the foreseeable future, and that's good for asset prices. In Europe, Cypriot banks reopened after an almost 2-week closure to relative calm. Strict capital control measures were imposed and could remain in place for weeks. Cypriots will not be allowed to withdraw more than €300 a day, cash checks, or take more than €3,000 when traveling abroad. Meanwhile, rumors swirl that Fitch Ratings will follow fellow ratings agency Moody's lead to cut Italy's sovereign debt rating. Moody's rates Italy 2 notches above junk grade. However, Italian economy minister Vittorio Grilli said he was unaware of any upcoming downgrade. In company news, BlackBerry reported quarterly earnings that outpaced market expectations, boosted in part by the launch of its new BlackBerry 10 smartphone. Still, the company lost subscribers at a rapid pace, with the base of users contracting to 76 million from 79 million. Pinnacle Foods jumped in their NYSE debut as the packaged foods maker, priced at $20 at the top of their expected range of $18 to $20. Goldman Sachs edged higher after Guggenheim started coverage of the banking giant with a buy rating and price target of $175. Meanwhile, the brokerage initiated coverage of Morgan Stanley with a neutral rating and a price target of toilet paper. United Technology rose after Morgan Stanley initiated coverage of the Dow component with an overweight rating, saying the company has significant broad-based tailwinds. On the economic front, the U.S. economy grew at a 0.4% annual rate, according to the Commerce Department, just a touch below the 0.5% gain expected by economists in a Reuters survey, and weekly jobless claims jumped 16,000 to seasonally adjusted 357,000, according to the Labor Department. Meanwhile, the pace of business activity in the Midwest slowed in March, with the Institute for Supply Management Chicago barometer dipping to 52.4 from 56.8 in February. A reading above 50 indicates expansion in the regional economy. Volume is expected to remain relatively low ahead of Good Friday. I love when there's a futures future tense sentence posted at 4:30. Is somebody using a template here or what? Markets will be closed in the United States and most of Europe, but banks will be open. Economic data, including personal income and consumer sentiment, are expected to be reported Friday. Treasuries added to losses after the government auctioned $29 billion in 7-year notes at a high yield of 1.248%. The bid-to-cover ratio, an indicator of demand, was 2.56. So that is that. Let me just mark this article here. Not that I'll ever go back and read this again, but hey, you never know. I had an announcement come up here also from my platform. Let's see where that went. Notice the U.S. equities and futures markets will be closed Friday, March 29th in observance of Good Friday. Forex will maintain normal trading hours. So hopefully that's in line with what you guys have been expecting from the markets. Let's take a look at the futures markets and see where they're sitting here at the end of the day. We've got the ES on the screen, of course, up 6.5 points, trading at 63 1/4. The NQs are up 12 today, trading at 28.13, and the Dow futures are up 59, trading at 14,504, now 505, up 60. Gold is down $10.60, currently at $15.96 60, below that psychological 1600 level. Silver traded down 34 cents at 28.27, and copper currently down almost 4 cents at $3.40. You see oil is up 55 cents at 97.13. And I think that covers it for the futures. The VIX, of course, we mentioned earlier, trading at $12.70 here at the close, down almost 3.5%. All right, so we have a couple of members who we've been talking with, and I know we had some technological trouble getting them on the show once before, and with RPM, and now RPM is slowly starting to realize who these guests might be, if he hasn't already figured it out. And so I was making arrangements to get on the one member whose audio was cutting out on him, and instead I ended up getting a twofer on this one. So I'm going to see about getting them on the line here in just a moment. And hopefully we got this all set up. Get my notes out. And it sounds like they're ready. I got one of them to say yay, and the other one is slouched over on his keyboard. Oh, he's coming in. Okay, good. So might end up with a little bit of a delay. Trying to call the group, see if we get some folks to answer the phone.
Hello.
Hello, hello. We got one answering the phone.
Hey, Briguy.
And I think we got a twofer. All right, awesome.
Okay, feedback.
So, just like
Hey,
with
guys.
any call-in radio show, we'll ask you to turn down your radio because it comes back over the phone.
Yes. Done so already.
Okay, that's all right.
Where the hell is
Yeah, he'll figure that out in a second, won't he? Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Okay. So, I don't know the distance here, but I did happen to get a little bit of a map that maybe I can show on the screen briefly without messing up the futures chart, just to give our listeners an idea of where we're calling to. And that is to Bergen, Norway, I believe is the right place.
Can you
is that
see
correct?
that? Can you see that? Really? That's exactly correct. If you zoom in, can you see you in my house? My office?
I know you gave me the GPS coordinates earlier, so
yeah, didn't I?
I didn't actually plug it in, but I'm sure you're somewhere in there.
Yep. No, a little bit north.
A little bit north.
See the B? It's a B, right?
Yeah.
Okay, zoom in.
All right, we're not going to get that exact. Just giving everyone an idea.
Oh, you can see where I point.
It'll be a delay anyway.
Yeah.
So what we have today is members here on DayTradingRadio.com, and that includes I'm Short Your House and Dutch Windmill. So I don't know if you guys see in the chat room, but we have a couple of hellos coming in for you guys. And
Happy Eastern.
Yeah, happy Passover.
that too. Very good. So you guys have been active in the chat room here and there. I know Dutch Windmill quite a bit. I'm sure your house is has trouble with the multitasking. So as much as he'd like to be typing in the room all the time, he's busy making money, and that's fine too. We don't mind that at all. But we'd like to get a perspective from you guys, since you're coming from, and I don't know about your situation, Dutch Windmill. I know I'm Short Your House was born in the East Coast of the States, right?
Yeah, I moved there when I was a kid.
Right. So when you were a kid, you moved to Norway, and I know you traveled back and forth.
Yeah.
So can we call you a New Yorker?
I was born there, so.
A native New Yorker, anyway, right? As the song goes.
Yeah.
Okay. And how about you, Dutch Windmill? Your days have been spent.
I'm a native Dutchman. I was born and raised in Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Now, how is that growing up for a little kid?
That depends on the neighborhood. But it's all right. It's definitely a very nice city.
Okay. I mean, it's a big enough city to have its different sections, right?
Yeah, and it's a great city. You know, it's relatively more liberal than other cities around the world. So that's always fun when you grow up.
You say that.
And
they have a nice district. I know.
Yeah. So, but I got kids now. But I moved out of Amsterdam more to a rural area.
Okay.
You get kids.
But that will change soon, because I'll be moving abroad in about a couple of months. I'm moving to the UK.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny you refer to moving to the UK as going abroad. It doesn't seem that far away from where you are, relatively.
It's only 45 minutes flight. So yeah, it's all very close here in Europe.
Yeah, I mean that's like us going from New York to Boston.
Exactly. If you
many Americans think that Europe is one country.
It's not one country?
Yeah. Hey,
they have the
beauty bubble.
Eurozone.
Hey, I see a buddy from the Berkshires. I got family in the US. They own a bed and breakfast over there in the Berkshires in Great Barrington.
Okay.
I think Buddy must know Great Barrington then. I've lived in New York as well in 1996.
Okay. So you know, so you've seen the horrible snowy winters we have here in the United States compared to the sunny Bergen, I'm sure.
Yeah, the first time I went to the US was in 1983 with my grandpa. Visited my family in New York, and they lived on Long Island back then. And I literally froze. My fingers were frozen because my gloves were not really up to the job. It was really horribly cold that winter.
Yeah, Long Island can get very, very windy with the with the cold, and so we got some folks saying hi in the room. So so let's talk a little bit about some trading now. You guys have some kind of an arrangement between the two of you. You kind of trade together. You're trading colleagues, or what kinds of things do you guys trade, or are you focused on anything in particular?
You want to answer that one?
Yeah, sure. That of course you got let's say the longer swing trades, but I also tend to get more aggressive, more scalping kind of trades intraday. I trade for a living, so you need to step up the pace a little now and then.
Right.
And basically I got some longer positions, and I work in between as well. So it was a pretty busy week with all the volatility caused by Mr. Dijsselboom.
What the hell? How did that happen? 1 minute.
All right, working on the feedback issue.
Yeah. Somehow,
All right, you'll figure that out. So, are you guys trading any other markets besides the U.S. market?
Sometimes the European market, I guess.
Okay, I'm sure at your house, I think we agreed that Dutch Windmill was going to represent the group.
Okay.
I'm just teasing.
Sorry, it's in my nature to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Just raise your hand next time.
We trade European markets as well.
The European markets, you said?
Yeah, but I tend to trade them less frequently as I did in the past because, if you look at volumes and like banter and stories and things going on, U.S. market is much better, much more transparent, and it's much easier volume-wise. Also, there's much more liquidity. There's a lot of
get in and out.
Stocks in. Yeah, and in Europe, some of the what was called blue chip stocks have lost a lot of momentum in the past years, and especially now with the crisis going on, you definitely see the markets are, less efficient as that they were like 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get back, but it's just a cycle. But right now, the U.S. market for trading, I think, is much more attractive than the European market.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm sure at your house, would you feel that you should just ignore the European markets and just trade the U.S., or is there anything news-wise that you'd like to keep your eye on?
Well, I keep my eye on basically derivatives in Norway. There goes my accent cracking up again.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So what
basically,
types of derivatives?
Like credit default swaps for mortgage-backed securities. In Norway, as you may know from our conversations, there is quite an housing bubble in Norway.
Mm-hmm.
That is driven by an underlying asset bubble.
Okay. So that gets into the CDOs that you do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And just for practical explanations, is that trading on a Norway exchange, or is that through a certain broker house, or how does it work if somebody is trading credit default swaps, let's say?
Well, it's what we call OTC, over the counter. So it's not trading in any exchange.
Okay. So you're directly in contact with somebody.
You buy it from the counterparts directly.
I'm sure there's always a middleman getting his percentage, right?
Yeah, of course. Well, it works out like that.
All right.
Most of the time, not always.
Now, how did you?
That depends.
Okay. How did you get into trading in this type of derivatives and whatnot? How did you end up gravitating towards that?
You really want to know?
If you'd like to share.
Yeah. Okay. I started at business school when basically I was when I was a kid. I'm a kid now, but when I was more of a kid. And I basically dropped out in 2001 when 9/11 hit. Mm-hmm. A little background before this. I have come from this wealthy family. So basically, all my life, I always rebelled against, money, cash, etc.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, 9/11 propelled me into the army, the Norwegian army. Then we eventually got deployed to Afghanistan. I didn't. That's not important anyway. But that was 2 tours, and 2 tours in Norwegian. In Norwegian Army.
Okay.
That's like 6 months. In the US, it's 12 months. So
Okay.
it's like one deployment.
Right. So after those tours, you got back home.
Yeah.
And you were trying to
And
figure out a career, I guess.
Yep. And I figured, why don't I finish my education?
Okay.
And I actually did it on the internet.
Okay.
That worked out. Because in Norway, everyone has broadband. It's like super fast internet everywhere.
Really? Even in the rural areas, I guess, huh?
Yeah, even in the rural.
That's nice.
Yeah, those areas.
Yeah, that's nice. So you got into trading. Now, why not just trade, let's say, futures markets, or why not just trade the U.S. markets? I mean, why get into what you have been trading, which is, to me, it's not as common, but you're more familiar with it. Maybe you do know that there's more people doing it. I don't know.
I know, but I don't know. I have this fascination with the whole finance industry.
Mm-hmm.
That has been fueled since I was a kid by my uncle and by members in this very chat room. I won't borrow sentiment from Wester and say I won't disclose their names.
Okay. No, that's fine. And you've been a member here at DayTradingRadio for...
I think it's 2 years.
2 years
I used
now.
to have another handle.
That's right. I think I remember you telling me that.
Oh, yeah.
You
was
don't
a
have to
little
say.
cheap. No.
Okay.
So probably remember.
So how about you, Dutch Windmill? How did you get into the trading environment?
Well, my family was trading. My uncle was a president of a Dutch bank in the US, and he basically triggered me into. I looked at it. I went with him to the Dutch stock exchange here in Amsterdam to the floor. And when I was in the US as a kid, I also saw his brokerage or the dealing room. And later on, he had his own brokerage. So, then I went to business school. I did an internship with him back in 1996 on Wall Street, where he owned small brokers back then. Mm-hmm. And kind of nepotism, so to say.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Use it if you got
it. Sorry, what?
I said nothing wrong with that. You use it if you got it.
No, so that's how I came into the business, and I started in the Netherlands with the largest broker.
Okay.
And I was servicing the U.S. accounts till 2002, 2003, because after 2001, 11th of September was of course a big crack in the business. Mm-hmm. And then I started working for a big bank as a trader, and then I got fed up with that because of all the new rules and regulations coming on. And that's when I decided to go for it on my own.
Okay. So let me ask you now, when the markets were obviously on hold during 9/11, things shut down over here. Now, over where you guys are at, you can't trade the U.S. market, but what are you doing day to day? Are you trading other markets, or are you also on hold waiting for things to get settled?
You mean like in a crisis?
Yeah.
Sorry, Dutch. Well, I didn't mean
either one of you, whoever has a comment.
Well, back in 2001, the situation was really confusing, and it was, for me, it was one the most emotional trading day, I would say, of my life. Also the most busy trading day of my life. But we were in contact with one of my client was one of my clients that was in one of the towers.
Mm.
So I literally lost a client. It was incredibly confusing because the office of that particular client had another office in London, and they had an open squawk box to each other.
Mm.
So the guys in London could exactly hear what was going on in the tower. So that was pretty horrific. So we said, okay, we got to close the stock exchanges in Europe, and because we were relatively big, we asked the management of the stock exchange to just shut down trading, because it was not fair, because a lot of people couldn't trade, and other people were pretty much taking benefit of the sadness, or how do you say, the fact that other people couldn't trade.
Right.
So the market was not fair and square anymore.
Good point.
But then, back then it was literally instructed, and I think basically that was based on by the U.S. or financial regulators in the U.S. that all stock exchanges should stay open. Otherwise we would give in to terrorist demands.
Right.
That they wanted to achieve lockdown of the financial markets. So that's when everything just went on, but with this pretty sour taste in your mouth, so to say. It was really horrific.
Right.
Yeah. So I went there right after 9/11 to pay a visit to the clients, and things had really changed big time. I was there like literally 3 weeks after, and that was horrific.
So now you guys sound like you both, even if there might be an age difference, you both have seen the markets change. And I'm assuming you've also seen the technology for trading those markets change. I'm sure at your house. What do you use for your trading these days? What kinds of a platform are you using to trade?
I use basically Tradebook. That's the Bloomberg. That's Bloomberg's trading platform, so to speak.
Okay.
Trade through the Bloomberg with a broker code.
Okay. And does that include giving you any kind of charts if you want to be able to look at charts? Or do you even use charts?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm more of a fundamentals guy.
Okay, sure.
But
and how about you, Dutch?
I want this discount. Sorry.
I was lured. I'm using interactive brokers and multi-chart.
Okay.
And I acquired multi-chart because I was on DayTradingRadio, and it was a good choice.
Okay, so that's working out for you then.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Definitely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So I'm sure at your house you were going to say something more about the software.
Oh, it's not important actually.
Everything
you say
is important.
Technical. Okay. About the Bloomberg terminal, it's basically, if you take the best way to describe it is if you took all the services you should subscribe to, like Bensenga, etc.
Right.
And put it into one, and you get all these cool apps that gets data from the algorithm. I can't say
That's
that
it.
word.
You got it. Algorithm. Yep, we got you.
Yeah, I can't say it in Norwegian either. So.
What is it in Norwegian?
You want me to talk Norwegian now?
Yeah, why not? What's the word in Norwegian?
Algorithm.
Algorithm.
That's Western Norwegian.
That's very hard to say for me. Anyway. I have hard enough time with Spanish. All right.
Yeah, it's...
Okay, so let me ask you now. You and I have been looking at some information that you had shared, and you said that you might want to mention some of it on the air, and I know that some of it is on a confidential level, so I don't want to say
No,
the wrong thing.
I actually said until further notice.
Yep.
So
Okay, so I have the report in front of me. Are you saying I can read from the report?
You can put it up on the screen if you want. Right, Dutch?
Well, I don't have my.
I think he better can just read.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
It's not as important, and plus, don't forget too, we have some non-members that are able to watch the show, and I'll just keep it for that for now. But this is a report that came out of one of the brokerage companies. I don't know if brokerage is the right word, but market analysis.
Let's just say market makers.
Market makers, okay. And so this is with a grain of salt, because I realize I'm not revealing sources here. So you guys at home, if you have any trust that I'm giving you information that I say I'm giving you, then fine. But I'm not giving you any advice on what to trade. But I found this report to be interesting, and that is that this market maker found large speculators buying S&P 500 and Russell 2000 futures to record long positions. And this is a report that came out at the beginning of this week, right? It's basically last weekend.
It was Sunday before.
Right. So I don't know if this is talking about data from last week or over a period of weeks. But it was as of, I believe, the 19th of March is some of this information. Second point, large speculators sold silver down to levels near the buy zone. However, they bought gold out of a buy zone. And the last point is that large speculators aggressively bought U.S. dollar to a crowded long for the first time since September 2012. So a lot of speculation about the markets taking a rest at these levels, and yet this is saying that large speculators, I don't know if it's one hedge fund in particular or maybe across several hedge funds, but buying up S&P 500s and Russell 2000 futures.
Yep.
Have you guys seen evidence of that as well in your trading?
Yeah. To put it bluntly, yes.
Okay. And so that would really fit into what we've been talking about. I know I had Vesser was on one of the shows earlier this week and last week, and when we talked also on DTR2, I believe that was yesterday, and that is the fact that the market's not taking any pause here and is just continuing to run. And that would be happening when you get a large influx of cash into the market like this, just driving everything up.
Yeah, it comes from two sides. It's the cash from the market participants, and of course the thing which is happening with the Fed and the public open market operations. And that's basically still the big support in the market right now. Although I must say the Dijsselbloem thing gave a little hit at the beginning of the week, so I really had to work till yesterday to get that loss out of the way. But it's,
how does that guy still have a job?
Sorry, what?
How does that guy still have a job?
I don't know. It's I mean, it's very.
Completely irresponsible what he did, right?
It's irresponsible in the way if you don't know him. I think if you read his Wikipedia page, you get a better understanding of where he is coming from and what he has done in the past. He's Dutch, so in that respect, I think I know where he's coming from, and I'm not really surprised in what he's saying.
You mean Dijsselbloem, whatever his name.
Yeah. Well, basically, I mean, he's coming from the Socialist Party. He's got a very relatively a very socialist background, and what he is saying and stating is basically an exponential exponent of what he has done in the Netherlands. So that's not really that surprising.
Interesting.
But in the end, the net result of what has happened there in Cyprus and what has happened on the market, of the impact on the market, has been relatively mild in the end. Only, we know that in the near future, if any problems occur, it would be coming from Europe. That's.
And some of the other comments in the report here, let's see, regarding metals. Large specs bought gold, sold silver, platinum, and palladium, and added to their shorts in copper. Gold remains within the edge of a buy zone. Palladium stays in a crowded long. Silver is approaching a buy zone. So the charts that came with the report identify some trade ranges, which really anybody, if you want to bring up a chart and just look at where the price volume has been occurring, you could look at volume profiles and get some of that information too, and you'll see that the trading is happening around those edges. It also mentions for Forex, besides the fact that large specs bought US dollar, partially covered yen, and added to their shorts in euro. US dollar moved into a crowded long since September 2012. So shorting the euro, I mean, that seems like a no-brainer at this point.
Well, it's extremely volatile.
So, is it too late to be shorting euro?
Well, technically, I would say you would be in for a bounce, but there's some things going on, on the background, especially since, of course, the statements by Mr. Euro, as they call him. So, and you see what it has triggered the market in that respect is the ultimate the decider on what's happening, and you definitely see, I think, already a flow out of the European Union of capital into other. Yeah, I think it's very beneficial for the US in that respect.
Flows from Europe into emerging markets.
Emerging or the US. So there will be relatively. If you look at some.
For the US, of course.
I can give you an example, Briguy. If you put on the chart of ASML, which is a Dutch semiconductor stock listed as an ADR, it's Alpha Sierra.
Okay, I have that here, ASML.
If you look at the daily chart, you can see that the stock saw a high in, I believe it was February, and as of February, it's just going down, like a lot of European stocks. And if you put the S&P next to it, you see the S&P is actually going the other way. So there's a big underperformance of a lot of European stocks at the moment.
Let me see if I change this to a... do this here. That should give them side by side there. So you said the S&P?
Yeah, or the Nasdaq, but yeah, S&P is better. I think it's a tech stock.
Daily. So what is the ASML? I'm sorry.
ASML makes the wafers, which are being used by Samsung and Taiwan, the wafers which are being made to put processors on.
Okay.
And so basically they make the machines who make those wafers, and their biggest clients are Samsung, Taiwan Semiconductors, Intel, and you see it's one of the leading tech companies in Europe, I would say. But you definitely see what happened to the performance as of the high in February.
Right. Interesting, and I was just hearing a report earlier today about the record number of electronic devices they expect to see sold in 2013, and that's tablets, computers, phones, etc.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many of these they've already built and are just sitting in warehouses waiting to be released.
True. Yeah, I don't know that either, but it's very obvious. I mean, the ASML is just one example, but if you look at financials in Europe today, you see also big underperformance. So what we can see is that really what's happening in Europe right now, I think, is also helping the U.S. markets to go up. Capital is moving.
All right. So you're listening to Briguy here on DayTradingRadio.com. We're having a little interview here with two of our members from across the pond, as it were, in and around Bergen, Norway. And
he's in the Netherlands.
Netherlands.
But I'm in Brugge, Norway.
Oh, those are different countries, aren't they?
Yeah, it is.
Where's all right, hang on a second. Let me get my geography straight. So here's Norway, and you're across the water over here then.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
He's northern.
Slightly more south.
This country.
Now that's Denmark. You should go more south.
Yep.
There it is. Okay,
that's northern
more
Germany.
south.
Lower.
That's like Flensburg or something.
Yeah, there's Flensburg. That's is that across the border?
Yeah, you have to. Okay, southwest.
Left Amsterdam. You see Amsterdam?
Yeah, there it is. See?
Yeah, well, you're on the delay, so you're telling me CC, but I'm trying to find it. All right.
No, you're in Denmark.
Am I not supposed to be in Denmark?
No, that's another flat country.
Oh my goodness! How am I that far off?
And you named the biggest
Netherlands. Oh my goodness.
mountain in Denmark. Okay, seriously, that's the chef.
That's the Netherlands.
There's Netherlands. Okay.
What's the biggest mountain in Denmark?
What's the biggest mountain in Denmark?
This chef. Give it a shot.
There's Amsterdam. Right along the.
I'm in the wrong chat. Right.
Along the Market Mirror. Did I say that right?
No guess.
Yeah.
No guesses.
That's newly made land. There was water that they created land.
Well, that's one thing they're not making more of. Or at least it used to say it. More of it. Or at least it used to say it. More of it. Oh, okay. To say it. More of it. Oh, okay. To say it. More of it. Oh, okay. To say it. Okay, that was me. See how easy it is. What happens is Livestream likes to reset the video from time to time and mess you up like that. So sorry about that, guys.
No problem.
Yes, Carl. I try to be an American, but I also try to see if I can figure out where places are. It does interest me. So, I don't know if there's anything else in this report that you'd like me to draw attention to, except maybe with the energy sector. It says large specs sold crude oil and heating oil, partially covered natural gas and flat gasoline. Crude remains in a crowded long. Now, I was hearing, though, that, and this was in the Futures Mag website, that natural gas seems to be taking over for oil, at least here in the States.
Okay, if you scroll down to the last page, or one of the last pages,
okay,
you can see
in regards to
basically
natural gas?
the S&P. That was too far. Wait a minute.
I don't know what you're talking about scrolling. I'm not
Okay,
scrolling
there.
anywhere.
It's page
11?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there. Yeah.
Okay.
11.
Large speculators partially covered their shorts in natural gas to 4.3 billion from 4.6 billion notional last week. Readings are neutral. Nat gas is testing resistance near $3.90 to $4. There's strong resistance.
It will take some time to go through all this, all of these pages in detail. Yeah. But I meant, let's see here. Here, it's on page 7. actually.
Okay.
The chart, the highest chart, the first chart on the page when you scroll down.
Regarding the S&P
That's
500?
large speculator net futures in equities. And you can see like crowded long zone. It just doesn't say that there, but it says crowded short zone.
Right.
That didn't abate before September 2011.
Yes. And it says the S&P 500 continues to test resistance at the longer-term range highs at 1550 to 1576.
Yeah.
Which is where it ends up at the end of the week.
And as you probably know, record highs. That's nice and all. But what happens every time we are at the record high? We don't stay very long at those record highs. Do we?
Well,
I see it. Just,
I mean, in the last 2 weeks, we've done some small pullbacks, but then it's pushed through again.
Yeah, and when you basically just listen to the TV, everyone is talking about the corrections.
Right.
Everyone is a bear now. I mean, in the media. So,
bear or
when will this start to become
scared to be bulls?
Self-fulfilling prophecy?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can make an educated guess, but I do not know.
A break beyond the 1550 to 1576 would target 1600 to 1625. Prior resistance at 1530 to 1525 is now initial support, and additional support is in the 1510 to 1500 area. So you guys can take notes of that. I'm sure at your house we have some folks in the chat room are asking about how you trade. Talk about your trading. Do you feel like getting into that?
Well, I can give the basics, I guess.
Sure.
Well, ask away. Or do you want me to freestyle?
Do I want you to freestyle? Well, you can rap about it. You can, how about your routine? I mean, there's a weekend.
Put on a beat.
Besides reading everything that's on the Bloomberg terminal, I mean, what kind of research or reading are you doing?
Research, basically fundamentals. I see in the setups, stops, targets. Well, that's technical analysis stuff, or not stops and targets and all that, scans. But you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I think that basically just only relying on technical analysis and ignoring the fundamentals, it's okay. It works, but it can become dangerous, especially in times like these. You did see Monday and the week that was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole global market.
What'd I tell you about asking me questions?
Okay.
Just teasing. Go ahead. So are you reading U.S. material, or are you only reading what's coming across through Bloomberg? Are you checking out the Wall Street Journal? Are you reading Financial Times? Are you?
Yeah.
Is there some local Norwegian, trade rag that you like to pick up at the local cafe, or?
I read it on the internet.
Okay.
But still, it's the you want the page?
Well, if you want to share it in the room for everyone, you could let them see.
It's e24.no. You have to run it through Google Translate, or else you won't understand a thing. And maybe I don't remember if I told you last week or the week that was this week. This week, an article was published by Reuters, basically saying all the stuff that I've been saying for some while about Norway. Says that it's a big welfare state. The only thing that's supporting it is basically oil revenues and high oil prices. And Norway want to be they want to be outwards. This humanitarian country, we give money to everyone, yada yada yada, right? But I can place a link to the Reuters article in chat, so you can read for yourself. It's in English. Stand by.
Stand by.
Yeah. Dutch, you can talk in the meantime.
Okay.
I'm a little bit of both. I'm technical. I start always with my scans, and I scan. Before I went to DayTradingRadio, I was already looking at some kind of similar strategies that the Rockstar is using.
Okay.
Only, it's basically in your journey as a trader. At least for me, you see that the statistics when you buy the dips from oversold situations are much better than the other way around. From the overboughts, they're much less easier to grab, to short, let's say. So yeah, I'm scanning for the basic oversolds in the stochastics, and I do that for Europe and the US. I also scan for the 2-period RSI, which is a very short-term RSI, but very powerful when it's really oversold.
Okay.
And when you got both, like oversold the stochastics, and you got an oversold in the 2-period RSI, you got a very high potential bounce candidate, so to say. So that's what I use. I use the Benzinga Pro feed with Squawk, and I use Twitter in a special way. I've configured Twitter with around 1,100 Twitter feeds from only professionals, so no bullshit links. And that's basically also now acting as a kind of real-time news feed. Because you see that Twitter is, especially for those people who can't afford a real-time Reuters or a real-time news feed, you can if you download TweetDeck from Twitter itself, it's free.
Right.
And you can configure it with even the investor relations of a lot of companies now have their own Twitter accounts. So whenever numbers or news comes out from that company, it used to be going to Bloomberg or to a press agency. Right now, companies are starting to directly put that material on Twitter. So you can have the same real-time information that the professional, so to say, got by using Twitter in an efficient way. And it has already been proven that in time of crisis, let's say an earthquake or some terrorist action, if you know how to use the real-time search, for example, in TweetDeck, you can stay up to date as more efficiently than listening or looking at the mainstream media, as they are also looking at Twitter.
Right.
So
you're finding that with not just European markets, but even the United States companies are posting their info?
Yeah, there are a number of individuals out there which are very well known. Now, even if they're right and not right, people listen to them. Yeah, so you have somebody, for example, a Doug Cass. That's somebody everybody knows. Yeah, or let's say Citron Research, for example. It's been with ISRG. They post
again with the ISRG.
They post their research initially on Twitter. So I got an alert whenever they come up with something. I hear ping, and I see ISRG. And last time with Kenny I short your house joint. We took a short directly in
You can call me by my
ISRG.
name. I really don't care about.
Okay, well, my real name is Dennis for everybody, but so we shorted immediately, and you have a momentum trade, like for just maybe a couple of minutes, but that's a quick scalp, That's the momentum trades, which are not technically, but more momentum driven by news and such.
Help by stuff.
Right.
But Twitter, in that
Trading
respect, I
stuff,
can really,
I think.
really advise people to, when they can PM or direct message me if they want some good links of people who really have an impact. There are really people who have a good scoop.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I posted a link in the room if anyone out there is a little unfamiliar with using Twitter. I did do a Tools of the Trade show a while back and showed you guys TweetDeck and also
famous designer lost the feed.
Yeah, I see that there, and seems like she's back in.
Okay.
Maybe you guys can confirm that I just reloaded the video myself. It looks like it's still broadcasting, but that doesn't mean it doesn't cut out from time to time with the internet the way it is. But it looks like she's back on, so that's good.
I even got now something linked to Twitter, which creates your own web page or newspaper, so to say, based on your Twitter accounts.
Okay.
I will send the link now in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that'd be
That
great.
one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Brian,
that's
you know that one.
Well, I didn't see him post it yet, so.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if I have
I
seen
got
that.
to post mine as well now.
All right, very cool.
So.
Wait a minute.
It's funny. So this is generated. So everybody can create this, even at DTRS. If you got your favorite links with the Top Step Trader or whoever you're linking up with, you put all the tweet accounts together, and you can create this kind of format, and it will be automatically generated. It doesn't cost a thing, but it gives a very nice view in the morning of what has been said by the people. That are tweeting about anything.
Very cool. Very cool. So there's a little added bonus for those of you who stuck around here after hours and listen to the show. You get to find out about these cool tools that are out there. And of course, I'm sure your house doesn't want to be left out. So there's his page with links to Sports Illustrated, Swimsuit Edition, and Maxim magazine. I'm sure.
Nah, it's economics, politics, and finance.
Oh, okay. I'm still trying to figure you out, Kenny.
And you can see my awesome logo on the screen. Our awesome logo, I guess.
All right. So I think we answered at least a few of the questions that came out here. I know somebody asked about what fundamentals you're looking at. I don't know if that's a specific answer or if you're just reading the news to see what's going on in the world.
No.
So,
And then, in a normal period, trading in use, that's like flipping a coin.
okay.
So you can't discount technical analysis. Of course you can't. But
Right, but is there a specific kind of fundamentals that you're looking for, or are you just reading headlines and gathering the data that way?
Well, you mean equities, or do you mean like derivatives? For example,
Okay.
I know that there's a big asset bubble in Norway because of the financial crisis. People put their money in Norway, Norwegian government bonds, because those are safe, right? Mm-hmm. Supposedly. And that in turn have created a massive credit bubble. US in miniature of 2006.
Okay.
Only that the housing bubble, if you do it per capita, it makes the US one look cute. Not mine were. not my words.
Okay.
Actually.
All right. Is there anything else you guys like to talk about in regards to where things were left here at the end of the week, or do you want to save it for another show, or I don't want to drag you guys out and overstay my welcome.
No, I mean it's basically we got a long weekend right now. I think the market will be hanging in there for maybe a week or so. Based on inflows from the first days of the month. But the thing is that if any problems occur, it will be caused by anything happening in Europe probably. That's the big thing. And that's. I think that the whole Cyprus thing. I mean, the market has gone up, but I would have thought that the market would have gone more up without it. That's so. Yeah. So I'm awaiting the new POMO calendar from the Fed. I always download it and look at it every week to see when the big POMO actions are. Because you can really act on that still. It's always a good leading indicator if you got relative strength or not. I believe back in 2009, I think, when they started QE1. Was that 2008 or 2009?
I want to say 9.
Oh, wait.
9, yeah. I believe that you could have made like
QE1.
like 10% only trading the POMOs that particular time, but they had more effect back then. But right now the effect is back on the table again, so it's an influence, a force that cannot be neglected.
Oh, and high frequency trading in conjuncture with this POMO, QE, call it what you want. It's not a good thing. They can't keep doing this into perpetuity.
Well, I don't see very many things going into place to stop them from happening. And
I know.
In fact, you have the bank, the big money. They're building their own systems to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know you know.
You want to know where the flaws are here? I don't want to go into that right now.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Or
Well,
do you really,
no.
really, really, really want to know?
It's up to you, my
I
friend.
don't want to get you fired and everything.
Oh, me get fired?
No, I'm kidding.
All right.
So a link for the POMO. Yes, Kumar. If you I can put it in there. But the Fed always comes up with 1 second. That is POMO calendar. Maybe they already posted the one for April. So today we got the April page, I guess. Here we go. The new one is already published. Hail to the Fed. Here you go. So you see it's the first. Yeah, we got a pretty good POMO on the 1st of April, and I believe they back tested all the POMOs and the effect and they fade like in 2 days or something. So we had a big one today. They will be adding a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's a good. It's next week looks good.
Lovely.
And then you have to keep track of the holes, especially the times that they are not doing anything.
Dennis, tell them about the new movie that's coming out, the Ghost Exchange. If they don't already know.
Yeah, they know. I already posted that in the chat some time ago. RPM already had a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think RPM had it, and then I had it on later on.
Yeah.
In the After Hours show.
That's right.
The trailer for the Ghost Exchange. I think it's due out in, was it May? Is it coming
out?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
So it has a lot to do with the high frequency trading and
well, the thing is that I think that's also a little bit a temporary thing. High frequency trading is something that will be sticking around, But at the moment, the participation of the big guns, so let's say the real buy-side firms, pension funds and such, has been a little bit lagging. Because due to market circumstances and everything happening, so they have. But as soon as that they get back, and they will get back, then high frequency will be becoming less active, because the high frequency gets more active as soon as that is less real flow. When there's thin volume markets, the high frequency can play its game. They can do this mathematician trick much better in an empty market than that some kind of big, like a big end investor is going to have a buy order or a sell order. They can't cope with that. So that at the moment when the big guns come back, and they will eventually, because right now, the number of participations in the market is relatively low. But they're there to stay. But their game also, I know a lot of people who have been starting in that, and I see already also in the Netherlands, and we have some very big high frequency players, that some of them already have come in a little bit of problem, because their arbitrage games are just arbitraged out, if you know what I'm saying. So you see some opportunities, and all of a sudden your neighbor is seeing the same opportunity and he's got a faster line, and then the other guy is seeing the same opportunity, and then the opportunity is gone. So, and for us it's not really important, I think, as well. If you're like swing trading, it can only it can only be of a matter if you're a really short-term trader. But if you're like what the Rockstar is doing, what most of us are doing in the swing trades, it's just a little bit of noise on the shorter time frames, but not on a daily or 5 days, or it doesn't really have that much of an impact.
Dennis, when you're on this subject, take up co-location.
And what you mean? That they are
placing the servers as close to the exchange as possible.
Yeah, but that, as I said, they just play a miniature game, and where the media is full of it, and the exchanges are making good money on it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
But as I said, it's for us, it's a little bit more noise, instead of having like a 5-cent swing. Especially when you're an active day trader, then it's getting nasty, because you're getting into their playground, and they will try to freak you out. But as soon as that you are in a swing trade, you buy and you have a stop of $1 or whatever, that's a different ball game, and that will not immediately be impacted by high frequency. The only thing you have to do is you don't use really tight stops, because they take them out. So your initial stops should be really, really wide. That has been shown in backtest as well right now. That totally contrary to what you have learned maybe in the past. That right now your stops must be like 3 average true ranges from your entry. If you don't do that, then your performance is going to suffer big time. So that's a handy thing. I like those statistics.
Dennis,
yeah,
I heard one of our acquaintances, I won't disclose who, he put it in this way, that these high frequency trade, the algorithms, they have yet to trade through a real stock market crash. So his thesis was, when the shit hits the fans, the machines comes off and humans takes over again.
Well,
because we don't want it. Yeah.
No, but it's not only high frequency trading. It's my uncle. He's like 67. He's an old school guy, and he always says nothing can beat a good broker with an old phone. So it depends in which part of the ball game you basically are. If all the algos in the world, when people are not talking to each other, one of the biggest assets is still information. and that cannot be neglected. And one day, that will exactly what you say. Humans in that respect will get back, and that my guess is that will happen like already relatively soon. We might have some bumps and things going forward into 2013, 2014, but after that, I think especially after 2014, already 2014, we might see an upturn even bigger than that we are seeing right now.
Yeah, it's the one we're seeing right now.
Yeah, well, but then a real one. A real one.
Yeah, I know. It's actually in a Norwegian paper, the one I quoted here before, eat24.no.
Right.
They said, put it this way. They said, in 2007, all the traders stood on the floor and cheered when the Dow broke records and when the S&P broke new highs. And this time, it's R2D2. Right?
Good point. Good point. Yeah.
Saying.
Very good, R2. Yeah, that's an interesting point. The fact that you don't have the feedback the way you did before. Somebody posted a movie to the forum from YouTube, and I think it was a documentary about the Chicago Exchange.
Oh yeah, that was me.
That was you. Yeah, I watched that movie. It was very interesting.
In the forum. It wasn't me, but I posted it I sent it to you via chat.
Oh,
and
right.
to Dennis as well.
Then I think I might have put it in the forum.
It was two documentaries, basically about the same. One was the old New York, the old NIBOT, and one was the Chicago Mercantile Exchange.
Right, CME.
So it was the old guys that have traded for 30 years, getting into computers, some of them after moving upstairs have big problem adjusting themselves to to computers. As one of them put it, this is supposed to be a money machine, but they take the money.
What I'm seeing also, Briguy, that's there's a lot of hype around the algo stuff. Especially in Europe when you're trading manually. And I've been able to outsmart computers. I recognize the computers. It was in a very simple way. If I did this, I saw a computer do that, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to do it again." And the computer is doing it again. And then, "Hey, now I'm going to do this." And then, okay. So
but you have to be some kind of machine to do that.
You can outsmart them. There's a lot of sophisticated stuff going on, but there's also a lot of not so sophisticated stuff going on. And
we do have apps like in the Bloomberg, like Stealth, the one we use, that takes data from the algos and basically interpret it into a user-friendly interface.
All those algo stuff. There's a difference in algos. There's algos for traders, and there's algos for people who execute orders for clients. If like a Fidelity gives an order to a broker, he's going to do that order, for example. And I can maybe explain that in the member screen one day. Okay. You can identify I've been executing a lot of client orders for many years, for like 15 years or something. So I've seen all the stuff going from paper tickets into algorithms. And back in the 90s, you needed 20 people to execute orders. Right now, you maybe need 4 people to do the same kind of stuff, only you feed them to a machine.
Interesting.
And you can see the patterns in the market. I don't know if I can pop up one. Not directly. I saw one earlier, but I can't see one right now, which really shows you that an institutional buy or sell order is going on. You can see it on the pattern. But I mean, as I said, back in the 90s, some guy who would sell like a big chunk of shares, he would be calling him a cowboy.
Sorry.
And right now, you've got some kind of quantitative guy doing the same kind of order in an algorithm. You know, and one day the cowboy will be coming back.
Okay, I think Kenny's
Sorry about that.
laptop is making some noise back over there. All right.
It's the radio.
Had a couple of questions.
On.
There were a couple of questions in the room. I don't know if you guys saw them. And
Not yet.
Oh, let me get
Kumar
that.
was asking about the POMO days. Or is that a good time to be long bonds?
No, it's the
Unless
the
I read
effect on
that
the
question wrong. But
no, on POMO days, most of, not every time, you know, it's not a guarantee, but they start at a particular time, and I believe I also posted it today in the chat that the POMO was starting at a particular time.
uh-huh.
And that's exactly when you saw the market tick up. When was it? That was like the first uptick, I think. So you see directly the equity markets are reacting, but in 2009 they already reacted when POMO was like 1 billion, and right now a POMO of 1 billion is not really enough. And right today we had like 5 billion, and that's when you see the effect in the equities market, and the whole dynamics behind it I don't really understand. You know, like somebody's getting money from the Fed, they're selling treasuries to the Fed gives them new printed money, and then there's some process that money is getting into the equities market, and they start to pump it up, so to say, and maybe sell it later on today, I don't know, but there's a real effect, literally an effect on equity markets, and also on bonds, but they're always the mirror image of the equities market, right? So
All right. And then another question was about the comments you were making regarding the what does he mean by a turn bigger than right now? Trying to figure out what we were talking about back then. Lion Trader asked about that.
Let me.
what was that referring to, Briguy?
Well, he posted, I guess it was a good 5 minutes ago, so I don't exactly know.
Wait.
I think Kenny was making some comments at that point.
Okay. Wait, let's see. Is it far up?
No, it's right there in the main room, 1749. I don't know what time zone yours is printing at.
Oh,
But
that would be 22:49
mhm.
for me. Let's see. There it is. What does it mean by turn bigger than right now? Bigger than... okay. What is he referring to? Can you write in the chat exactly what you mean?
Okay, so if Lion Trader's still around and wants to rephrase that, I don't want to leave anybody out with their
I think it
questions.
means if the upcoming cycle, if that's worse than the one we just witnessed.
That could be.
S&P, I see here.
That might
Can
be.
you form it into a coherent sentence? Unlike me? Yeah, you have to.
All right. Well, listen. While he's hopefully rephrasing, and now he's getting stuck, I want to thank you guys for being on the show, and
Sure.
I really appreciate your perspective. You guys have really helping us look at some other aspects of the market than strictly what is in our newspapers all the time, which is exactly what I guess the media wants us to look at. And as traders, at least as Day Trading Radio members, we like to be a little bit more educated than the average bear, as it were. And I mean that as a yogi reference. I don't know if you guys have a cartoon.
Actually, the whole Day Trading Radio, the whole site is actually pretty good to learn trading, as I see it.
Yeah. So that's a plug for the show then.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
And
still.
and just as
But
a reminder, yep. Sorry.
no. It's not important actually. But in volatile times that we may or may not have ahead of us,
Mm-hmm.
if this correction comes and how severe it will be, it may not be that smart to only rely on technical analysis. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So maybe educate yourself into the fundamentals too.
Okay.
Get basically see what's going on in the world globally. Look at macroeconomics as well as technical analysis, because as you saw on Monday, for example, just a small thing out of Dutch finance minister.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you saw what happened.
Yeah.
That set me 3 days back,
Right.
so to speak.
Right. It's definitely amazes me, and I have not been trading as long as you guys have, but it amazes me how the this concept of expanding the world markets, companies moving overseas, wanting to open up other plants and stores overseas, and the idea behind that was supposed to be positive for their bottom line, and now you get some idiot making a comment like that. It has nothing to do with the price of tires, let's say, being built
No.
in Canada, but it'll end up turning everything upside down for a little while, just from something like that, and because everything is so interconnected now.
Everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
It's that's the whole thing as well. Then that's why especially leaders or so-called leaders should be really careful by what they say and know that they're responsible for a lot of movement in the markets if they chose their words wrongly.
Right. Yeah, that reminds me. I was at the trade show in New York City. I went to a presentation for someone that was a forex trader, and he mentioned that whenever these news conferences happen with the international finance minister for this country and the representative from that country, that even a twitch or a shrug or a smirk or an eye glance in the wrong direction, like all of that is enough to make the markets turn in a certain direction.
That reminds me. You remember back in the 90s when we had on CNBC we had this briefcase cam on
Alan Greenspan.
Alan Greenspan. Correct.
Uh-huh.
I remember that. If the bag was fake, they had speculations up and down. Oh, he's gonna raise or lower interest rates. Oh, he looks sad today. Oh, today he looks whatever. You get the point.
Yeah. So I guess it really hasn't changed all that much.
No, it hasn't. It only shifted to Europe.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, listen, guys, I really appreciate you coming on, and maybe somewhere down the road we can if there's some other international event that's happening and we can get your perspective on that, we can maybe have you guys on again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Okay.
Great being here.
Yeah.
And happy Easter.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I want to do a shout out to everyone. Hi guys.
Okay. Kenny, with a shout out.
Trading going on today.
Okay.
I swear, paying attention to the chat.
Very good.
For the ones that did disclose the trades.
Yeah, and
I want to say, maybe some of the trades I disclosed early on They seemed oversized, but that is just because, basically, I have to trade size.
Okay. So size
to
matters.
make money for the investors. Well, you're going to put me into that corner again.
No. But you know what? You're making a point that I will share to the members, and that is when we do make comments in the room, sometimes we'll mention a position entry or an exit that we're looking at or coming out of. But you also have to remember everyone has different trade styles. So whereas one person might be looking to get in and, on a 10-cent move, they could be netting thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Versus someone else on a 10-cent move, maybe their commission's going to eat up their profits. So make sure you understand that if you're going to be following someone's trades, because I always say, it's okay if you want to follow someone's trades, but you have to know why they're taking the trade and everything around it. Don't just blindly copy somebody's trade. I mean, we're talking about real money here. It's not a video game.
Yeah, it's important.
That's the difference
Brian,
with size.
You remember what you told me earlier this week about this size and all this?
Yes.
Disclosed trades?
Yes.
You had a rather brilliant anecdote from your earlier days. Do you care to share that with the rest?
Oh, you know what? I've said a couple of anecdotes this week, and I don't remember exactly. Can you start? If you start it for me, I'll remember.
When we were talking about size and disclosing trades.
Yeah.
Along with size.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
Was it in Skype? Maybe I could look it up.
You were following. Okay. What I remember was that you were following this guy. Turned out to be a whale.
This was me?
Yeah, this was you.
I don't remember exactly. But, in general, I've done that myself. I've followed people into trades and then find out that they're scalping something, or I've had guys, earlier in my career that even supposedly a mentor who I thought was a mentor, and would help me with a trade, and then next thing I know he's out of the trade, but he didn't tell me he was out of the trade. So I'm sitting in the trade, and I'm not even. I don't agree, first of all, to be in the trade in the first place, but I convinced myself that he knows better than I do, because he's my mentor. So I get into the trade with him. Then he gets out of the trade and doesn't tell me. So now I'm stuck in this trade that I didn't want to be in the first place. I find out a day later he's already out of it, and by then it was too late. I already, this is options trading.
Hey,
so
really sharp, J-Dub, brilliant comment. And he sold you his shares, sucker.
Yeah, something like that, right? Exactly.
That's exactly what he did.
So, you know what? Live and learn, and hopefully don't make the same mistakes twice, or at least 3 or 4 times.
The way I see it, when I lose money, that's just paying for my education as a trader. And when I recoup that loss, it's just, the more...
Feels good.
Yeah, it feels good, basically.
Good. Yeah, well, you know what? The more successful traders have paid for Harvard educations 10 times over with the amount of money they've lost.
Yep.
At least from what I've seen. All right, so thanks, guys, so much again for coming on the show. I appreciate it. And
thank you.
Sharing some insight, and hope you guys have a safe weekend with your family and friends, and Kenny,
my whole
with
family
your dog.
have vacated the premises.
Well, with your dog then, Kenny.
Yeah, he's here.
Just
want to hear something funny?
What's that?
My dog was actually raised by Dennis' ancestor. No, not my dog, but his ancestors was raised by his ancestor. It's on the pedigree.
Really? Interesting.
It's pure coincidence. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow. This is on from like Ancestry.com? Did you go trace the dog's roots?
No, we have we get the pedigree what do you call it?
The papers.
List of all the dogs' ancestors.
Yeah,
You buy it from the kennel.
And you recognize some names.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very
It's
cool.
funny.
All right.
Okay.
Well, again, you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you in the chat room
Have a good
on
one.
maybe Sunday night, if not sometime Monday.
All right.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Thanks,
Have
Have a
Briguy.
great
You're welcome.
Passover,
Bye-bye.
guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. All right, so it's 8 minutes after the hour, and you're listening to Briguy's After Hours show here on DayTradingRadio.com. And we want to give thanks to I'm Short Your House and Dutch Windmill for checking in with us this evening, and really just intending to have them come on and share a few things. And we ended up having quite an interesting conversation there about a lot of different aspects of the market. So I hope you enjoyed that. And as I've said in the past, if any members are interested in coming on the show, whether it be the After Hours show or if you want to do something on the Tools of the Trade show and talk a little bit more specifically about your trading methods or styles or charts or software you like to use, whatever it is, we can do that on the Tools of the Trade show. And I'm happy to do that. Just reach out to me ahead of time. You got my contact info scrolling at the bottom of the video, or you can reach out to me here in the chat room, and I'll be sure to get that arranged with you ahead of time so we can put that together. So thanks so much. In honor of the two guys here being on the show, I took the liberty of looking up some top 40 music in Norway and in the Netherlands. So hopefully this is not too far off base, but here's a couple songs that these guys might be listening to on their local radio station. It's 10 minutes after the hour. I'll come back on the other side. We'll see if there's any other news to take a look at before we wrap up the show. And I'm sure your house is, if we get three gongs, that's always the rule. If we get three gongs from three different people, we will skip the song. But I will let this go until I hear otherwise. You're listening to Briguy's After Hours here on DayTradingRadio.com. It's what you turn on when the market turns off.
Hey, knock one more. Can we go thrift shopping?
What? I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is awesome. Now, walk up to the club like, what up? I got a big. I'm just pumped. I bought some from a thrift shop. Ice on the fringe is so damn frosty. The people like, damn, that's a cold ass honky. Rolling in hella deep, headed to the mezzanine. Dressed in all pink, set my gator shoes. Those are green, draped in a leopard mink. Girl standing next to me. Probably should have washed this. Smells like R. Kelly sheets. But it was 99 cents. Copping it, washing it. About to go and get some compliments. Passing up on those moccasins. Someone else has been walking in. Bummy and grungy f***ing man. I am stunting and flossing and saving my money. And I'm hella happy that's a bargain. I'ma take your grandpa style. No, for real. Ask your grandpa, can I have his hand-me-down? Velour jumpsuit and some house slippers. Dookie brown leather jacket that I found. Dig it. They had a broken keyboard. I bought a broken keyboard. I bought a ski blanket. Then I bought a kneeboard. Hello, my ace man, my mellow. John Wayne ain't got nothing on my fringe game, hell no. I could take some pro wings, make them cool, sell those. The sneakerheads will be like, he got the Velcro. I'm gonna pop some tags, only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is being awesome. I'm gonna pop some tags, only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is being awesome. What she know about rocking the wolf on your noggin? What she knowin' about wearing a fur fox skin? I'm digging, I'm searching right through that luggage. One man's trash, that's another man's come up. Thank your granddad for donating that plaid button up shirt. Cause right now I'm up in her stunt. I'm at the Goodwill, you can find me
me in the. I'm not stuck on searching in the section. Your grandma, your auntie, your mama, your mammy. I'll take those flannel zebra jammies secondhand and rock that. Whoa. The built-in onesie with the socks on them. Whoa. I hit the party and they stop in that. Whoa. They be like, oh, that Gucci, that's hella tight. I'm like, yo, that's $50 for a t-shirt. Limited edition, let's do some simple edition. $50 for a t-shirt, that's just some ignorant. I call that getting swindled and pimped. I call that getting tricked by business. That shirt's hella dope. And having the same one as 6 other people in this club is a hella don't. Peep gang, come take a look through my telescope. Tryna get girls from a brand, man, you hella won't. Man, you hella won't.
Goodwill. Poppin' tags. Yeah.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is being awesome. I'll wear your granddad's clothes. I look incredible. I'm in this big air coat from that thrift shop down the road. I'll wear your granddad's clothes.
Damn right.
I look incredible.
Hey, come on, man.
I'm in this big air coat from that thrift shop down the road. I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is being awesome.
Is that your grandma's coat?
Oh, Julia, je hoort bij mij. Oh, Julia, loop niet voorbij. Alles is mijn schuld, is mijn fout. Maar heb wat geduld en weet dat ik van je houd. Oh, Julia, je hoort bij mij. Bij mij. Zeg me dat je niets meer voelt voor mij. Alle deuren nu goed gesloten zijn. Maar aan de toon waarop je spreekt, hoor ik dat jij nog om me geeft. En koester ik de stille hoop dat jij me ooit vergeet. Ik weet dat ik wat fouten heb begaan. Die maak ik niet zomaar ongedaan. Ik was mezelf kwijtgeraakt. Als uit een nachtmerrie ontwaakt, dan schouw ik nu wat ik in al die tijd heb stuk gemaakt. Oh, Julia, je hoort bij mij. Oh, Julia, loop niet voorbij. Alles is mijn schuld, is mijn fout. Maar heb wat geduld en weet dat ik van je houd. Oh, Julia, je hoort bij mij. Bij mij. Is dit echt het einde van de lijn? Herinner je hoe mooi het soms kon zijn? Als je voelt hoe zwaar ik lijd en hoeveel het mij nu spijt, voel je dat ik jou terug wil en tot alles ben bereid. Oh, Julia, je hoort bij mij. Oh, Julia, loop niet voorbij. Alles is mijn schuld, is mijn fout, maar heb wat geduld en weet dat ik van je houd. Oh, Julia, je hoort bij mij. Ik geef je mijn hart, ik geef je mijn ziel. Ik geef je alles wat ik in me heb. Zo lang ik alles voor jou weer te ruilen kan. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, Julia, je hoort bij mij. Oh, Julia, je hoort bij mij. Oh, Julia, loop niet voorbij. Alles is mijn schuld, is mijn fout. Maar heb wat geduld en weet dat ik van je houd. Oh, Julia, je hoort bij mij. Bij mij. Oh, Julia, je hoort bij mij. Oh, Julia, je hoort bij mij. Oh, Julia, loop niet voorbij. Alles is mijn schuld, is mijn fout. Maar heb wat geduld en weet dat ik van je houd. Oh, Julia, je hoort bij mij. Bij mij.
All right, that was Nick and Simon from the Netherlands with or at least the song is, on the Netherlands Top 40. Julia is the name of that track. I don't know if that came across from the song bot, if it's actually picking that up or not. But hopefully you guys like that a little bit. A couple songs there from across the pond, and a shout out to our friends I'm Short Your House and Dutch Windmill for spending a little time with us this evening and answer some questions from you guys. That was nice. Let me just fix the it is on 10. I'm not exactly sure why we're seeing as much as we are. Maybe if I zoom in more. Anyway, I've since the FX market is still open, and I do see the song bot is posting in the room. Very cool. So since the FX market is still open, if anyone has any particular pairs that they think I should put on the screen, let me know. I got the Euro US dollar on the screen now, currently trading at 128.15, down ever so slightly. And then the British US dollar, the pound US dollar, is at 151.87.9. Again, pretty flat from the settlement price. But let's take a look at the futures market, see where the futures left things off here at the close, at the 5:15 Eastern Time close. You see the ES futures moved up another 50 cents, so they closed up $7 at 1563.75. Then the Dow futures were up $65 on the session at 14,510. The NQs were up 12 1/4 at 2813 1/4 going into the weekend. Gold was down $10.30 at 1596.90. Silver was down 30 cents at 28.31. Copper was down 4 cents at $3.40. And oil, don't know why I keep skipping over oil, but oil was up 65 cents today at 97.23, near the highs. So I'm just going to take a peek at a couple more news items that came out here at the end of the day and let you guys go for the weekend if you haven't already left. We thank you for tuning in with us here on Briguy After Hours show. And by the way, if you are interested in checking out the DTR2 channel, and as I say that, I see that Johnny's gone offline over there, so I don't know if we should put him back on the main channel later or not. Maybe somebody can look into that and let me know for when we're done here. But Johnny was doing some research there that you were able to watch earlier and enjoy. So here's a couple interesting things if you hadn't already heard these items from earlier in the day. Walmart may tap customers to deliver online orders. Walmart Stores is considering a radical plan to have store customers deliver packages to online buyers, a new twist on speedier delivery services that the company hopes will enable it to better compete with Amazon.com. Tapping customers to deliver goods would put the world's largest retailer squarely in the middle of a new phenomenon, sometimes known as crowdsourcing or the sharing economy. A plethora of startups now help people make money by renting out a spare room, a car, or even a cocktail dress. And Walmart would in effect be inviting people to rent out space in their vehicle and their willingness to deliver packages to others. And thanks for the feedback there, Greenstream. Appreciate that. Such an effort would, however, face numerous legal, regulatory, and privacy obstacles, and Walmart executives said it was at an early planning stage. Walmart is making a big push to ship online orders directly from stores, hoping to cut transportation costs and gain an edge over Amazon and other online retailers, which have no physical store locations. Walmart does this at 25 stores currently, but plans to double that to 50 this year and could expand the program to hundreds of stores in the future. Walmart currently uses carriers like FedEx for deliveries from stores, or in the case of a same-day delivery service called Walmart To Go, that is being tested in 5 metro areas. It uses its own delivery trucks. Walmart has millions of customers visiting its stores each week. Some of these shoppers could tell the retailer where they live and sign up to drop off packages for online customers who live on their route back home. Walmart would offer a discount on the customer's shopping bill, effectively covering the cost of their gas in return for the delivery of packages, he added. This is at the brainstorming stage, but it's possible in a year or two, said Jeff McAllister, Senior Vice President of Walmart U.S. Innovations. So there's a little bit more in that article about a company actually called Zipmints. And Zipmints was founded in 2010 as a crowdsourced delivery network that allowed anyone over 18 years old with a vehicle, a text-enabled phone, and a PayPal account to bid on courier services for local businesses. Such online matchmaking businesses often push legal boundaries, and a Walmart crowdsourced delivery program would be no different. Online packages delivered by customers may never reach their destination either through theft or fraud, the analyst said. Well, those kind of obvious things to work out. There's an app I have on my phone called Astrid, and I have an Android phone. I don't know for sure if they have it on iPhone or not. They probably do. But Astrid is a task managing app that you can actually share with other people. So, for example, when I went to my brother's wedding last year, and here we are out and about shopping and getting things ready and coming up with ideas along the way, we were able to add things to our app, and it would show up on one another's cell phone so that we all knew what was on the master list. And then the brilliant thing is that as somebody gets the item, or let's say picks up the flowers, they can update the app and check it off the list. It'll get crossed out on everybody's list, so everybody knows that it was getting done. So I think those kind of apps are kind of cool and useful, even if you have like a guy I work with on some other projects mentioned that he uses it with his family. So when the kids have chores, you assign them all chores to do, and then they get kind of excited about checking them off the list and kind of competing with one another who's able to check off more on the list, and everybody gets to see what's gotten checked off. So it kind of works out that way. But anyway, what I was going to get at was that the app has ways for you to assign those tasks to other people. You could assign a value to something, and then it'll go out on something like one crowdsourcing business is called TaskRabbit, and it'll go out on their website, and people can bid on it if they want to handle it for you. And if you're a business, it could be anywhere from assembling a bookshelf or from IKEA, or bringing a TV down to the dump, or whatever it is. It's kind of a interesting phenomenon that's going on with technology. On another note here, we had listened to a video interview from Jim Rogers a couple weeks back where he was talking about his new book, and he also led on that he was shorting the I believe he said he was shorting treasuries. Maybe I got that. You know what? I better not say what it was exactly, because I might have forgotten exactly how he phrased it. And let me see if I can even find it in my notes that fast. I know he was big on the Russian market. Here it is: shorting government bonds, 30-year government bonds. Long Japan via the DXJ, that's a Wisdom Tree Fund, Delta X-Ray Juliet. Shorted some JPM calls, buying Russian bonds, currency, and stocks. So that was back on February 7th, and we have an update interview from today. Let's see what he has to say now.
Day of the quarter, the S&P hitting that all-time record high. April has been the best performing month of the year since 1950. Are we ready for another leg up in the markets? Jim Rogers is the chairman of Rogers Holdings, and he joins us this morning, I believe, on the Newsline. Jim, good morning.
I'm delighted to be here, Carl. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Finally got this albatross out of the way in terms of these technical levels. A lot of bears argue good reasons not to participate in Q2. What do you think?
Well, it is very artificial, I must say. If you give me $1 trillion, Carl, I'll show you a good time too. And a lot of people are having a good time. I'm somewhat skeptical because I know it's going to end badly.
Let's center on U.S.
Pound dollar moving
people
up.
People point to typical seasonality, not that great going into the springtime. Big components like GE diverging from the broader index. Cyprus, even though near-term uncertainty might be lifted, still a lot of questions about Italy and bank deposits. Would your preference be to stay stateside or not?
Well, no, I'm not. I'm certainly not investing in the U.S. because the U.S. is making all-time highs based on, money printing. As far as I'm concerned, I'd rather put my money. I have money. I've bought Russia recently. Russia's certainly not near an all-time high, Carl. Japan I own. Japan is not near an all-time high. The whole world's benefiting from all this money being printed, but there are better places than the all-time high, if you ask me.
Yeah. What's your appetite on Europe at these levels?
No, I'm not. I own Swiss francs. I own a few shares in Europe that I've owned for 15 or 20 years. But no, I'm certainly not buying there. I mean, it's pretty scary what's going on in Europe when they start taking money out of people's bank accounts. I, for one, am making sure I don't have too much money in any single bank account anywhere in the world now, because now there's a press on it, Carl. The IMF has said, sure, loot the bank accounts. EU has said loot the bank accounts, so you can be sure that other countries, when the problems come, are going to say, well, it's condoned by the EU, it's condoned by the IMF, let's do it too.
Have you personally made moves, Jim, where you were a large depositor and you said, get me under the insurance cap?
Well, I'm not rich enough to be a large depositor anywhere, Carl. I'm not like you. But yes, I have started the process in a couple of countries in Europe already. It's underway to make sure that I have under the guarantee amount. And everybody should do the same thing too, because they're going to go like crazy the next time around. Yeah.
Now, there is this discussion that we've had this week, obviously, about whether or not this is truly a template, as the Dutch say. They've tried to walk that back, Jim. What do you think is true? I mean, is Cyprus a special case, or might we expect a similar strategy to take effect in a larger country if need be?
It's going to happen. Of course it's going to happen, Carl. Now the IMF has condoned it. The EU's condoned it. I mean, it's politicians who are telling you it's a special case. Oh, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Carl, what more do you need to know when politicians are saying you don't have to worry, it's a special case? Please, you better hurry. You better run for the hills. I'm doing it anyway. It doesn't mean I'm right. But I want to make sure that I don't get trapped. I mean, think of all the poor souls who just thought they had a simple bank account. Now they find out that they are making a contribution. That's what it's called, Carl, a contribution to the stability of Cyprus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all of these politicians.
Yeah. Rule number one, Jim, they say, is don't lose money. Rule number two is look back at rule number one. Finally,
well, rule number three is don't trust the politicians. Don't trust any government. Paul, if you're going to listen to government, you're going to go bankrupt very quickly.
Finally, Jim, I know one of your other areas of focus is ag. Can you be a little more specific?
Well, agriculture has been a disaster. We produced less than we've consumed for 10 years now, which means inventories are near historic lows. You know, we've got very low inventories. We're running out of farmers. The average age of farmers in America is 58. In Japan, it's 66. I mean, farming's been a disaster for 30 years. Prices have to go much higher. Maybe not this year, but certainly this decade. But we're not going to have any food at any price, Carl. There aren't enough. You know anybody who became a farmer? Probably not.
They're making a lot fewer of them in this country, at least, that's for sure. And we just got a taste of it with that drought not too long ago. Jim, have a great time in Chile, I believe is where you are. And thanks for coming to the phone. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Carl. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Jim Rogers. So, yeah, take it with a grain of salt. I know he's been a gold bug for a long time, and I don't want to get into a whole history of Jim Rogers, but I do like to hear what he has to say, and then take that into account with everything else that's going on. And I recommend you do the same. Just keep an open mind and process everything that you're hearing. So U.S. pound dollar was moving up there a little bit at these levels here, and then I see Eurodollar still drifting a little bit lower and lower. So keep an eye on that if you're interested in that market. And then here's an article that came out today from John Carney. Let's see. Well, it says John Carney and then it says Jeff Cox. So I'm not sure who wrote the article. But it's called Why Cyprus Probably Can't Happen in the U.S. Probably in parentheses. One of the reasons the crisis in Cyprus has had limited market effects is that something like that would be unlikely to be repeated in the United States. That's not to say it could never happen. The truth is there have been bank runs pretty much as long as there have been banks, so a liquidity crisis certainly could hit American financial institutions and cause substantial damage. But as a matter of scale, the problems in Cyprus are far worse than anything likely to wash up on U.S. shores. Quote, all things considered, it is extremely unlikely that depositors at U.S. banks would ever suffer losses in the event of a bank failure, end quote, said Paul Ashworth, chief U.S. economist at Capital Economics. For a start, U.S. banks are better capitalized, and the banking sector is a much smaller part of the overall economy. In a report for clients, Ashworth compared the Cyprus situation to the volatile banking sector in the U.S. and concluded that there is little to fear of a repeat performance. For one, American bank deposits comprise a relatively small 93% of gross domestic product compared to 716% for Cyprus. On top of that, U.S. banks have enough reserves to pay their debts, and the largest institutions recently held up well under Federal Reserve stress tests. Another problem that Cyprus has is a large concentration of assets in its two biggest banks, which had wrong-way bets in Greek debt. Coincidentally, the closest recent U.S. corollary is with MF Global, the once powerful broker that collapsed due to liquidity issues also caused by Greek debt investments. In that case, account holders took a hit. In the regular banking sector, though, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation has enough capital to backstop deposits of up to $250,000 in the case of bank failures. That's the good news. The bad news is that a financial crisis that in any way resembled the subprime meltdown in the last decade, or the debt crisis still making its way through Europe, can still cause substantial damage in the U.S. Deposit guarantees have been a long-standing feature of the U.S. banking system through the FDIC, Ashworth wrote. Breaking those guarantees would presumably result in a run on other banks. Nevertheless, unsuspecting creditors could be on the hook if other financial institutions failed, including money market mutual funds or broker-dealers, he added. In the case of a complete bank meltdown, it's possible in theory that depositors would be required to chip in, since they have taken on a huge proportion of bank liabilities. Ashworth pointed out, however, that the upside to that is deposits have increased so much that banks rely less on the short-term loans that helped create the financial crisis. Buoyed by their reserves held at the Fed, U.S. banks now hold enough cash to pay off all of their remaining borrowed funds, he said. As for investors, they seem to be buying both the theme that a Cyprus-like crisis can't happen here and that the Eurozone problems won't take down U.S. stocks, with the Standard & Poor's 500 hitting a new record Thursday. So, another article to take with a grain of salt. As far as I'm concerned, if they want to take money out of people's accounts, they could just do it. You don't need to have all these line of reasonings of why it wouldn't be necessary. So, anyway, that is that. What was the other thing I was going to mention? I think that was about it. So you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. The currency market, the FX market, is going to open under normal hours, trading through the rest of the night, I suppose. I'm not an FX trader, so I don't know what their usual hours are, but supposedly they're running at normal hours. And the markets will reopen Sunday evening at, I believe, 5 p.m. Eastern is when the FX market opens. 6 p.m. for the regular futures market. Getting asked for a 5-minute chart of the brown dollar. I do have the pound dollar here on the right, and you can ignore that volume profile. I don't think that's even registering. For some reason I don't have volume coming in on my chart. But there is your requested zoomed in view here of the 5 minute on the British pound. So I don't know if you see any gaps matching up with what you're looking at, but hopefully that helps you out. If you need me to zoom in more, let me know. And let me just double check my studies that I have on. I'll move this out of the way. Let's see, we do have the 2050 on there. There's also the 200 and 150. I don't know if they're showing up on the screen right now. And the two standard stochastics. Going to turn off the volume profile. Okay. Let me just make sure. Alright, good. Anytime. So I'm just going to throw that back to a 1 minute just to keep it familiar to the folks who are watching. Okay. Let me see about closing some of these other windows here. So that'll do it for now. And just wanted to remind everybody that we have the launch of DTR2 this week. And of course, still making some adjustments. So if you have any feedback on that, any suggestions, just remember there's a lot of different configurations of software out there. So we may not be able to implement everyone's suggestion, but it certainly will be taken into account for the features that we can do. And all you need to do is send in a request to dtrs@daytradingradio.com with any of the comments that you have, and we'll get those over to the tech guys, which basically means over to RPM, and he'll be sure to look that over. And I'm sure even at this point he's already got an idea on some things that he wants to implement for that channel. And hopefully today you guys enjoyed the dual setup of having RPM running the main channel and then Rockstar giving out some specific commentary on things on DTR2. So that could be kind of cool. And you might even want to check in over the weekend and see if there's anything playing over there from his research that he'll likely be doing. Okay, so that about does it. I'm just going to turn off the broadcast for a brief moment, and then I'll come back on, put on some tunes for you guys as I go off and get ready for dinner, walk the dog, and do all those good things. Hope you guys have a good and safe weekend. If I don't speak to you sooner, I will talk to you Monday on the After Hours show, and we'll catch up with you then. Thanks for tuning in to Briguy's After Hours show here on DayTradingRadio.com. It's what you turn on when the markets turn off. Good night, guys.